definitely worth having a listen to.
Yeah. Okay. Credit on those. I forgot to make a joke about one of the news stories. It's going to have to wait. Credit to Love Rugby League, Total RL, and BBC Rugby League for their report. And actually, check out the BBC Rugby League website, because there's a couple of good sort of human interest stories on there. One about Rob Burrow and the horse that's been named after him, and one about
which I've joined. I've bought a share in Burrow 7.
Excellent stuff. And one about the Brazil women's team for next year's World Cup on the day that it's a year until the women's competition starts. If all goes well, fingers crossed that this vaccine goes from 90 to 100% quickly. Yeah.
And who doesn't love a Brazilian women's story?
There you go. Be like Tom Andrews and send your news views into us on the Google form for news views. You'll get the links in the episode blog post for that. But thanks to Tom, he never lets us down, even when we're hit by breaking news halfway through the show. The phone flashes up with a tweet from him to make sure it's included. So there you go. Right, let's move on to a couple of games. Right, Tim, we've got round 20-ish of the Super League to talk about. I mean, it was the final two regular season games. Let's call it that. Between Wakefield and Salford and Wigan and Huddersfield, and we start with the first of those two games, which was Wakefield versus Salford. It was 22-4 to Salford at half time, but Wakefield had a bit of a comeback in the second half, not quite enough. 28-20 in the end to the Red Devils, in what proved to be in Watson's final game in charge. Liam Moore was the referee. In terms of the stats, meter numbers were fairly close, with Salford edging them. The big difference that led to Salford's win was 6 breaks to 2 and only 8 errors to 15. Individually, Kristen and Inu, 1 try assist, 11 tackle busts, 187 metres and 3 clean breaks. Elliot Keir, 162 metres. Lee Mossop, 104 metres, despite his 10 minutes in the sin bin. And Luke Yates, 102 metres. For the losing Wakefield side, Bill Tupu finished the season strongly, 176 metres for him. Innis Senior with a try assist, 5 tackle busts and 170 metres. Kalepi Tanganoa rounded off an exceptional campaign. In my view, the third best second rower in the competition this year. That's how good he's been. 2 tries, 8 tackle busts, 130.
So really the second best, because you've
James
probably
Bentley
bumped
would
up.
be the second best for me this year.
Well, for you, yeah. I wonder who you bumped up into first position.
But the person who's been the best. Eddie Batty had 45 tackles, 13 of which were mark tackles, 5 tackle busts and 113 metres. We'll talk about him in a minute anyway, the guy who's the best second rower in the competition. Tim, fan views first.
Yeah, Tom Andrews said, enjoyable end of season throw-about. The better team won ultimately. Let's not talk about that offside, though.
Well, shall we talk about that offside? So in the first half it was Ben Jones-Bishop had a try ruled out for offside. The on-field officials called it as offside, and the video replays couldn't get an angle where they actually showed the kick and Jones-Bishop in the same shot. So they weren't able to overrule the on-field decision. And from the angles I saw, I don't think he was definitely onside in any shape or form.
I don't think he was beyond the benefit of the doubt that he was onside. There wasn't enough clear evidence that he definitely was, no.
I mean, the only thing that they're kind of using, it seemed like the only thing they were using as evidence was the commentators saying, well, normally a winger would be behind the kicker in this situation. But normally, I'd be able to go round to my nephew to see my nephew on his birthday this week and, take him out for tea. Normally. I don't think it was that controversial. Joshua's granddad said, scary times for Salford, having to hold on to a lead for 78 minutes. That's a good one. I like that. But they managed it playing some entertaining rugby. They do look a far better team without Kevin Brown. Trinity waited until the second half to wake up and briefly rallied to close within 2. Enjoyable end of the season, nothing to play for. Romp. # still above KR. So everyone liked Chris Inu's performance. He got 3 points in the Albert Goldthorpe. Tanganoa got 2, and Chris Atkin, who was Sky's man of the match, got 1 point in the Albert Goldthorpes. So well done to him in place of Kevin Brown. So yeah, well done there. A couple of disciplinary outcomes from this one, Tim, before we talk about anything else. Lee Mossop, that trip, that got him a sin bin, also got him a 1-match penalty notice. It didn't seem like a particularly dangerous trip. It certainly deserved a yellow card because it was clearly a professional foul, but seen as worthy of a 1-match penalty notice. You comfortable with that?
I think I'm probably with you there. I think it was probably worthy of a sin bin at the time, but not really much need for anything more. But there we go.
And young Harry Bowes of Wakefield, grade A dangerous contact charge, no match penalty notice for the young kid, but statement of intent after his exciting first week in the Super League. Well done to him. Not for the dangerous contact though. So, what did you make of this? Do you agree with the views we got in? Entertaining end of season affair?
Yeah, it was entertaining. It didn't quite have the energy that it could have done because both teams really were tired by this point, but it was not a bad game to watch. It was quite enjoyable. For the most part, I mean, I think Salford did pretty well and showed that they have, when they're not battered and falling apart, they're actually a pretty decent side under there.
Yeah, to me, it was like a sort of Paul Rudd vehicle. You know, like a film that you can just put on knowing that it's not going to affect you emotionally, but you're going to be entertained at parts, and it's a nice way to spend a couple of hours on an evening, on a cold, dark evening.
In that 5:30 time slot, which I really like as a time slot, I've quite enjoyed it since I've been working at home. It's been quite a nice time slot to have on just as you're doing the cooking or waiting for partner to get home. It's quite nice.
Yeah, and the first half in particular was quite nice. I think almost all the highlights for me came in the first half. Maybe the second half, Salford certainly dropped off in intensity, their second game in 5 days, and Wakefield their second game in 6 days. It definitely had an end of term feel for it by that point. But in the first half, lots of entertaining stuff. If you accept it as a flat or backwards pass, then Lola Here's pass that led to Inu gifting Evalds a final game try for Salford was very nice. I can't quite decide if Ed Chamberlain's footwork was luck or skill. I'm leaning towards luck, but great work nonetheless. Reece Lynn, he must have listened to what Sean Wayne said to him, and is making a case for Sean Wayne to think again about him with that break that he made to set up Hampshire's first try that brought Wakey back into it just before half time. Although Lola Hayes' try right on the stroke of half time from Andy Ackers' break was another really entertaining first half try. I think Hampshire scored the best try after the break, his support run for Innis Senior after making the pass as well out to Senior. Another long ranger. Wakefield have had a habit in the dying stage of the season of scoring some cracking long range tries, 2 more in this game. So I think entertaining, easy watching.
Yeah, not bad.
Anyone or anything stand out for you?
I thought, Kristen Inu did all right. He did. Kristen Inu took things, didn't he? Got himself about, but I did think that Atkin had a particularly good game, which is always nice to see. He's someone I think of quite fondly, so it's nice to see him have a decent game. And as we said, Reece Lynn showing that he's not out of the conversation in terms of England for me.
Yeah, definitely so. Well done to Salford though, finishing the season in above Wakefield as a result of this win after their points deduction. Then that led to the main event, I suppose, but it didn't have the feeling of that. The Wigan versus Huddersfield game. Do you want to take us through the key numbers and stats?
Yep, so Wigan had 428 more metres, which they made at a 0.8 metres per carry better average gain with 6 breaks to 1. They would likely have won by more without the 15-11 error count. For that Wigan Warriors winning side, Sam Powell made 1 try, 59 tackles, 19 of those from marker. Liam Farrell, the 4th best second row in the competition, making 45 tackles. None of them were missed, and 143 metres going forward. Bevan French, the excitement machine himself, 223 metres and 2 clean breaks. Oliver Gildart making 5 tackle busts, 179 metres and 3 clean breaks. For the losing Huddersfield side, Ash Golding making 5 tackle busts, running for 229 metres. The machine himself, Mike Lawrence, clocking in with yet another 50 tackles, 11 of them from markers. How many did he miss? Absolutely none. And he went both ways with 117 metres going forwards.
Absolute awesome leadership, isn't it, from him this year?
He must not have a blood system, just oil. It's just unbelievable. Lewis Senior running for 113 metres, and Brandon Moore, 69 tackles, 16 of those from marker. What an effort from someone who's only been in full-time training for 6 weeks.
Yeah, averaging 60 tackles or thereabouts a game. I know he's not played a ton of games, and it's been during the 6 again era, but you gotta say, what a step up.
And we had some fan views on this one.
Tom Andrews said, a simple get-the-job-done performance from the Pies, not much style, but they take the hubcap regardless, and no one looked happier than Willie Isa. Yes, as Tom pointed out at the time, it was a very Saints 2018 celebration from Willie Isa, if not the rest of his teammates.
White Pie said, after an almost error-free game versus Saints last week, Wigan struggled to keep hold of the ball in the first half versus Huddersfield, and only had a questionable Sam Powell try as the sides went in level.
Wigan's Sam Powell has got some sort of he's got something over the video ref. I don't know what it is, but that's the 3rd time he's had a try this year that maybe it brushed a blade of grass this time, just like maybe it didn't leave his arm last time, but come on, he's had a bit of luck.
Wigan's game management improved in the second half, and 2 quick tries by Hastings and Hardacre and a Hastings drop goal saw the league leaders Shield head to the Stade de Crust. A week off now to enjoy the other playoff teams knocking the shit out of each other.
Yeah. And Jen K said, can't believe we haven't won the league leaders since 2012 and was not expecting to win it this year, so it's a nice bonus for 2020. I think from the tone of his interview that Hastings is leaving, sadly. Yeah, I couldn't quite get a handle on Hastings. He got man of the match. He got 3 points in the Albert Goldthorpe, 2 for Lulawai, who's been fantastic these last few weeks, and 1 for Ash Golding for Huddersfield. Stealing a point off the machine, I say. But yeah, Hastings' performance was very good in this game, in a game that was light on great performances, I think. But do you think that... I mean, has his mum told him he has to go home yet?
Well, interestingly, there's been something doing the rounds on Twitter this evening, another baseless rumour, that he might be going to Huddersfield, of all places.
Yeah, does he love Ian Watson more than he loves Ian Blease, though? And does he love playing for teams that don't win trophies more than he likes playing for a team that might win trophies, or has won a trophy?
Well, he's got his trophy now. He can go and be an evangelist elsewhere. Bring trophies to the trophyless.
Yeah, even if they are individual awards only. I got the sense that Jen got that he might be moving on, but we'll see. I got the sense from Tommy Lulawai that he might be going round again, though, which the way he's going at the moment, the leadership he's showing, 300 games for Wigan, and he performed, almost as good as he has in any of them. Really. If
he's up for it, then you snap his hand off at the way he's been at the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, because there's leadership around the playing group that you could get from him being in the coaching staff, but leadership from within the playing group would be fantastic. And young Harry Smith, I've always sort of felt like 2022 was going to be the year that Harry was given the keys to the keys to run the car. So I think there's going to be a development process still for him next year that he's going to keep going through. But it was a drizzly, classic bonfire night time like spell night, wasn't it? Where it looked like it was wet but not really raining, and the players kind of looked like they were just, let's get this one out of the way. Huddersfield were combative but